Your brain is doing something extraordinary right now. Not while you are reading, not while you are working, not while you are living your life, while you are sleeping. In the deepest hours of the night, your brain activates a system so powerful that scientists only fully discovered it a decade ago. A cleaning crew, a repair system, a biological process that flushes out the exact proteins linked to memory loss, dementia, and Alzheimer's disease. While you sleep, your brain is literally trying to save itself. But here is what nobody is telling you. That repair system runs on fuel, specific compounds, specific nutrients. And if those compounds are not in your body when you go to sleep tonight, your brain's repair crew shows up to work with nothing to work with. The damage accumulates, the proteins build up, and you wake up the next morning a little bit worse than you were the night before. Not enough to notice today, but enough to matter in 5 years, in 10 years, in the years when it is too late to go back. Today, I am going to show you 7 specific foods that contain the exact compounds your brain is craving during sleep. Foods that research shows can support memory repair, protect your neurons, fight the inflammation that destroys brain tissue, and slow the cognitive decline that most people over 60 are walking toward without knowing it. And I am going to show you exactly how to eat each one, because eating the wrong way cancels out everything. Stay with me through all 7 because number 1 on this list is something almost every senior already has in their home, and almost every senior is eating it in a way that destroys its benefits entirely. My name is Dr. Angela Whitfield, and this channel exists to give adults over 60 the honest, evidence-based truth about brain health that the system rarely has time to explain in a routine appointment. I have spent years studying the research on cognitive aging and nutritional neuroscience. And what keeps coming up again and again is how powerful the right food at the right time can be for the aging brain. Not supplements, not expensive treatments, food. Before we begin, everything I share here is for educational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice. If you have any existing health conditions, please speak to your doctor before changing your diet. And right now, before we go any further, drop your country in the comments below. I want to know where in the world people are watching this. I read every single one. Before I take you through the 7 foods, I need to explain why timing matters more than most people realize. I call this the overnight brain window. Here's what it means. Between roughly the 2nd and 6th hour of deep sleep, your brain enters its most active repair phase. The glymphatic system, your brain's waste clearance network, runs at full capacity. Neurons attempt to restore damaged connections. Anti-inflammatory processes work to calm the chronic low-grade inflammation that is silently destroying memory tissue in most adults over 60. This window is your brain's best chance to repair what the day has damaged. But the nutrients that power this process need to already be in your bloodstream when the window opens. That means what you eat in the 2 to 3 hours before bed is not just dinner. It is fuel for your brain's overnight repair crew. Get it right and the window opens fully. Get it wrong and your brain repairs at half capacity tonight and every night. Keep the overnight brain window in mind as we go through each food, because every single one on this list is specifically chosen for what it does during that window. Food number 7, walnuts. Do not let the simplicity fool you. Walnuts are one of the most studied foods in all of nutritional neuroscience, and the research on what they do specifically to the aging brain is remarkable. Here is the problem they target. Oxidative stress in your neurons. As you age, your brain's natural antioxidant defense system weakens. Free radicals accumulate. They attack the fatty membranes surrounding your brain cells. They damage the mitochondria that power those cells. And the result is the gradual loss of processing speed, memory formation, and cognitive flexibility that most seniors experience and accept as inevitable. It is not inevitable. Walnuts are extraordinarily rich in alpha-linolenic acid, a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid, and in polyphenols that cross the blood-brain barrier and act directly on oxidative damage in neural tissue. A 2020 study published in the journal Nutrients followed adults over 60 who consumed a daily handful of walnuts for 16 weeks. The results showed measurable improvements in memory processing speed and a significant reduction in inflammatory markers specifically associated with cognitive decline. How to eat them. A small handful, roughly 30 grams, eaten within 2 hours of bedtime. Do not buy pre-salted walnuts. The sodium works against the very brain benefits you are eating them for. Raw, unsalted. 30 grams. That is all it takes. And here's the detail that surprises most people. Store your walnuts in the refrigerator, not in a cupboard. The omega-3 oils in walnuts oxidize rapidly at room temperature. Oxidized omega-3 does not protect your brain from oxidative stress. It contributes to it. Cold storage preserves the compounds that make walnuts work. Food number 6, blueberries, specifically wild blueberries, not the large cultivated ones sold in most supermarkets. Here is why the distinction matters. Wild blueberries are smaller and darker because they contain nearly double the concentration of anthocyanins compared to cultivated varieties. Anthocyanins are the deep pigments that give blueberries their color, and in the brain they do something extraordinary. They cross the blood-brain barrier, something most dietary compounds cannot do, and act directly on the hippocampus, your memory formation center. Research from the University of Exeter found that older adults who consumed concentrated wild blueberry daily showed measurable improvements in memory recall and brain blood flow within 12 weeks. Brain blood flow. That is not a minor finding. Reduced blood flow to the hippocampus is one of the primary drivers of age-related memory decline, and wild blueberries specifically improve it. How to eat them. A third of a cup of frozen wild blueberries, lightly thawed, eaten 45 minutes before bed. Frozen wild blueberries are just as potent as fresh and far easier to find year-round. Do not combine them with dairy. The proteins in milk bind directly to anthocyanins in the gut and physically block their absorption. Eat them alone or with a small amount of healthy fat like a few walnuts, which you are already eating. 2 foods. 1 simple pre-bed routine. Your hippocampus gets to work tonight. Food number 5, avocado. This one surprises people because avocado is associated with heart health, not brain health. But the connection between the two is more direct than most people realize. Here is what avocado targets specifically. Cerebrovascular inflammation. Chronic inflammation in the small blood vessels supplying your brain is one of the least discussed but most significant contributors to memory loss after 60. When those vessels are inflamed, blood flow to critical memory regions is restricted. Neurons are starved of oxygen and glucose, and the result is exactly the kind of slow, progressive cognitive decline that most people attribute to age when the real cause is inflammation they could address with the right nutrition. Avocados are one of the richest dietary sources of lutein outside of leafy greens. And a 2017 study published in Nutrients found that lutein consumption was significantly associated with crystallized intelligence and overall cognitive performance in older adults. Avocados also provide the healthy monounsaturated fats that are essential for absorbing the fat-soluble brain nutrients from the other foods on this list. Eat avocado, and your body absorbs more of the nutrients in the blueberries and walnuts you are already eating. They work together. How to eat it? Half an avocado in the evening with your meal or as part of your pre-bed nutrition. Add a small amount of lime juice. The vitamin C in lime significantly boosts lutein absorption. If you are still with me right now, type the number 5 in the comments. It tells me you are here and getting real value from this. And stay with me because food number 4 is the one that surprised my patients the most when they heard what it specifically does to their memory during sleep. Food number 4, pumpkin seeds. Tiny, overlooked, one of the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet for the aging brain. Here is the specific problem they address. Zinc and magnesium deficiency. Studies consistently show that a significant portion of adults over 60 are deficient in both zinc and magnesium without knowing it, and the consequences for brain health are severe. Zinc is essential for nerve signaling between neurons. When zinc levels drop, neural communication slows. Memory consolidation during sleep is impaired. Cognitive processing speed declines. Magnesium is critical for regulating the NMDA receptor, the key receptor involved in learning and memory formation. Low magnesium means that receptor functions poorly, and your brain's ability to form and store new memories during sleep is directly compromised. Pumpkin seeds are one of the richest combined sources of both zinc and magnesium available in any food. A 2021 study in the journal Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience found that restoring adequate zinc and magnesium levels in deficient older adults produced measurable improvements in memory recall and sleep quality within 8 weeks. Sleep quality and memory improvement together because they are connected. How to eat them. 2 tablespoons of raw pumpkin seeds eaten in the evening. Do not buy roasted salted versions. The roasting process degrades the magnesium content significantly. Raw and unsalted only. Food number 3, fatty fish, specifically salmon, sardines, or mackerel. not all fish. These three specifically because of their exceptionally high EPA and DHA content. These are the long-chain omega-3 fatty acids that are the primary structural components of your brain cell membranes. Here is what happens to those membranes as you age. They become less fluid, less flexible. Communication between neurons slows. The brain's ability to form new memories and retrieve existing ones degrades, and the rate at which this happens accelerates dramatically when EPA and DHA levels in the diet are insufficient, which they are in most seniors. A landmark study published in Neurology tracked adults over 65 for several years and found that those with higher blood levels of DHA had a 60% lower risk of developing dementia compared to those with the lowest levels. 60%. That is not a marginal finding. That is a fundamentally different outcome based largely on one dietary factor: how to eat it. 3 to 4 ounces of fatty fish twice per week minimum. If eating fish in the evening, eat it at least 90 minutes before bed to allow for digestion before the overnight brain window opens. If you cannot access fresh fatty fish regularly, a high-quality fish oil supplement providing at least 1 gram of combined EPA and DHA daily is a clinically supported alternative, but food first. Always food first. Food number 2, dark chocolate. At least 85% cacao, not milk chocolate, not semi-sweet, 85% minimum. Here is why the cacao percentage matters so much. The brain protective compounds in chocolate are flavonoids, specifically epicatechin, and epicatechin concentration drops dramatically as sugar and milk content goes up. In a standard milk chocolate bar, there is almost no meaningful epicatechin left. In an 85% dark chocolate bar, there is enough to produce a measurable neurological effect. Research published in scientific reports found that flavonoid-rich dark chocolate consumption was associated with improved memory performance, increased neural connectivity, and enhanced blood flow to the prefrontal cortex in adults over 60. The prefrontal cortex, your decision-making, impulse control, and executive function center. The very region that personality and behavioral changes tell us is under assault in early cognitive decline. How to eat it. 1 to 2 small squares, roughly 20 grams, eaten 30 minutes before bed. The flavonoids in dark chocolate also enhance the absorption of zeaxanthin from other foods you eat in the same evening. Pair it with your blueberries and you have created a nutritional synergy that multiplies the benefits of both. And here's the detail nobody tells you. Let it melt slowly in your mouth rather than chewing it. The flavonoids begin absorbing through the mucous membranes in your mouth. You get more benefit from the same amount of chocolate simply by eating it more slowly. Food number 1, the one I told you about at the beginning, the one almost every senior already has at home, the one almost every senior is eating in a way that destroys its brain benefits entirely. Eggs, specifically the yolk. Because here is what most people do not know about eggs and brain health. The egg yolk is one of the richest dietary sources of choline on the planet, and choline is the precursor to acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter most directly responsible for memory formation, attention, and learning. As you age, your brain's ability to produce acetylcholine naturally declines. The neurons that rely on acetylcholine for communication are among the first to be affected in Alzheimer's disease, and dietary choline is one of the most direct ways to support acetylcholine production in the aging brain. A major study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that higher choline intake was significantly associated with better verbal memory and visual memory performance in older adults, and with lower levels of white matter, hyperintensities in the brain, structural changes directly linked to cognitive decline. How to eat them correctly. This is the part most seniors get wrong. Soft-boiled or poached, never hard-boiled, and never scrambled in high heat. High heat degrades choline content by up to 30%. The yolk must remain intact and slightly runny. Soft boiled for 6 minutes exactly. 1 to 2 eggs in the evening, 3 to 4 times per week. And never eat your eggs with highly processed foods. The oxidized fats in processed foods compete with choline absorption at the gut level and significantly reduce how much your brain actually receives. Now, before we finish, there are 5 rules that will determine whether any of this actually works. Because you could eat every food on this list and still get minimal benefit if you get these rules wrong. Rule 1. Eat within the 2-hour window before bed, not at dinner 5 hours earlier. The nutrients need to be in your bloodstream when the overnight brain window opens between hours 2 and 6 of sleep. Rule 2. Never combine these foods with alcohol. Even 1 glass of wine in the same evening significantly disrupts the glymphatic system, the very repair mechanism these foods are designed to support. Rule 3. Pair everything with a small amount of healthy fat. Lutein, anthocyanins, and flavonoids are all fat-soluble. Without fat present, your gut cannot absorb them efficiently. A few walnuts, half an avocado, or a small amount of olive oil with your evening meal solves this. Rule 4. Consistency beats intensity. Eating all 7 foods once will do almost nothing. Eating 2 or 3 of them consistently every evening for 90 days creates measurable neurological change. The research does not show overnight results. It shows 90-day results. Rule 5. Protect your sleep. These foods power the overnight repair window, but only if deep sleep actually happens. No screens 1 hour before bed. Bedroom temperature between 60 and 67 degrees. No alcohol within 3 hours of sleep. Without deep sleep, none of these foods can deliver their full benefit, no matter how perfectly you eat them. Let me bring this together. Your brain is trying to repair itself every single night. It is doing everything it can with whatever you give it. Tonight, when you go to sleep, your brain will activate its repair system. The question is whether it has the fuel it needs to do the job. 7 foods, a small handful of walnuts, 1/3 of a cup of wild blueberries, half an avocado, 2 tablespoons of pumpkin seeds, a serving of fatty fish twice a week, 1 to 2 squares of dark chocolate, 1 to 2 soft-boiled eggs. These are not exotic. They are not expensive. Most of them are already in your kitchen. The difference is knowing which ones matter, knowing when to eat them, and knowing how to eat them in a way that actually delivers their benefits to the part of your body that needs them most, your brain. Think about waking up tomorrow morning with a clarity you have not felt in years. Think about walking into a room and knowing exactly why you were there. Think about a conversation where every name, every detail, every memory is right there waiting for you. That is what your brain is capable of when you give it what it needs at the right time. That is what you are choosing when you decide tonight matters. If this gave you something real, please subscribe. I make videos like this every week, evidence-based, honest, built entirely around protecting your cognitive health in the years that matter most. Leave a comment below. Which of these 7 foods surprised you the most? Or which one are you going to add to your evening routine starting tonight? I read every single comment and I mean that. Take care of yourselves. This is Dr. Angela Whitfield, and I will see you in the next one.